Behind me, in New York City's Trinity Church Cemetery, lies the mortal remains of Alexander Hamilton. Every day, tourists and locals visit this site and pay tribute to the influential economist, founding father, and poor pistol dueler. They also ponder an all-too-common question. Was Hamilton president?
Alexander Hamilton, I think, was a president.
I don't know anything about Alexander Hamilton.
Wasn't he a president, one of the early presidents, if I'm not mistaken?
Oh, him. Alexander, the dude who made the phone.
But while public opinion seems to confirm Hamilton's tenure as commander-in-chief, there are some in the academic community who challenge this assumption. Was Alexander Hamilton the president?
No, Alexander Hamilton was not the president.
At any point?
At any point.
But how do we know that?
From the history books.
Okay, so we have to accept that what is in this history book is true.
I think so. I mean, there's bad history, there's good history, but good history says that Hamilton was not president.
Clearly, isolated academics like Professor Silla, a man literally ensconced by his own books, had one opinion of how to interpret history. But what do real Americans without an agenda think?
History is what we have been told about what happened.
History is a recall and stories that people tell that kind of go down in legend, and that's what we believe happened in the past.
They always say that history is written by the winners. So you have to be a little careful about what you believe.
If history is truly written by the winners, then prolific historian Thomas Fleming is the grand champion history king. You're the former president of the Society of American Historians.
Yes.
During your term as president, were there ever any members of the organization that dissented from your strict historical interpretation that Hamilton was never president?
No, nobody was that crazy.
There's political gain there. It sounds to me that there's no room for dissent in that organization.
On that point, there isn't. Yeah, he came to New York because some people down in the West Indies where he was living, a leader. He was just a natural leader. And so when the revolution began, this again all requires some brains. You can't shoot that cannon and hit just anybody. You got to know what you're doing. You have to know some math and so forth.
I grew tired of Fleming's book-based logic, so I turned to the internet for a more convenient path to the beating heart of the truth. After learning the president was born in Pakistan and Morgan Freeman had passed away, I discovered more than a few of my Facebook friends weren't indoctrinated by the so-called facts perpetrated by academia. He would have to be president to be on the $10 bill.
Some people think that, but it's not true, of course, because Benjamin Franklin was never president, and he's on the $100 bill. So not everybody...
Ben Franklin was never the president?
No, Ben Franklin was never the president either.
Are you sure? How can you be certain of that?
Because Franklin died in 1790, Washington was the first president of the United States and took office in 1789.
So because these people keep dying, there's probably a good chance they weren't president.
Yes, if they're not elected before they die, I would say it's a probability of 1 that they were not president.
1 in what? 1 in a million? Or 1 in 1,000?
One meaning 100% chance that they're not president. If they died before they were elected president, then...
That's all of it. Was Alexander Hamilton president? That question remains shrouded in mystery. For now, Americans can only stare with confusion at the $10 bill while feeling grateful for his invention of the telephone.